Welcome to live chat. Welcome, guys. Today I'm going to review the Jonathan Prepare My channel. Um, so today, guys, this I just want you to wake up and get out of this brainwashing, get out of this mind control.
Good morning,
Let's get started,
everyone.
guys.
Welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. It is time for the weekly wrap up. Yes, welcome everyone on Patreon and everyone on YouTube. It is that day. What a day. What a week we have had. For everyone here on YouTube, if you don't know, if you haven't been informed, if no one's let you in on the skinny, every day we put information out, including Sunday, but videos Monday through Saturday over on Patreon at the Prepared Mind over there. It's our way of flipping the bird to YouTube most of the time. They've made life really difficult for tens of thousands of people who are there to make it in, people who are there to get their message out. You're blessed by almighty Google. You're not allowed to promote your version of reality. Only theirs exists. So we wanted to do our best to cut them out of the mix, but we still want to come over here to YouTube and get some messages out throughout the week. Anyways, the weekly wrap up. What's it about? It's about whether or not we're getting closer to shitting the fan or not. Every week, I recap the events and see if that road that we're on is taking a fork and is going to someplace great where the unicorns roam and they shit skittles up and down the hillsides, or whether we're heading down to shit it's the fan, right? Basically, hell. Well, this week is no different. We've taken the fork that leads to hell. Indeed, we have. I want to start with developments in Venezuela. Venezuela is continuing to fall apart. Once an incredibly prosperous nation because of its abundance of natural resources, primarily oil. It was plentiful and cheap. And with regard to the general population, it made life in Venezuela a wonderful place. And then what did they do? They elected a socialist. And then they elected another one. And these same people in the United States of America want socialism here. Well, what's it done for Venezuela? It's gotten them 3 million% increase in inflation. In other words, their money is 3 million% less valuable. Their country has gone to shit. They have been in a slow descent into shitting the fan for 5 years. They are having arrests, assassinations of citizens that don't agree, right? They don't have food. They can't get medicine. It is a story down there. For us, it would definitely be shit it's the fan. For them, they're doing the best they can, but it's not good. So what's happening now? When there's carrion dead meat on the ground, they carry in a circle. We've got Russia and the U.S. circling, both claiming they want to help the Venezuelans by putting their support behind their political leader. Now, Maduro, who has been the socialist president for some time now, he's being supported by the Russians. And the United States is supporting the guy who's supposed to be more friendly to freedom. Well, in both cases, what do I see? I see the exploitation of natural resources on the part of nations who want to get their corporations, their business mitts on it, right? And it's leading possibly, potentially, to a military conflict. See, if Russia gets in there and establishes bases, they're going to be able to put their hypersonic missiles, defense missiles here. And we haven't really felt that kind of a threat here in the United States of America in many years. Basically, we've kept everything in Russia's face over in Eastern Europe. Well, now they're threatening to bring it over here, and it's not looking good. Anyways, let's move on to another subject that's near and dear to my heart: disease outbreaks. Not the swine flu, not
Zombie
Ebola,
dare.
but rather tuberculosis, dysentery, more homegrown varieties coming from unhealthy, unsanitary living conditions amongst the homeless in our major cities. That's right. There are now so many homeless in the United States of America who aren't counted as unemployed. Right? They've fallen off the rolls. They're the true disenfranchised human beings here in the United States of America. We call them bums. We call them the homeless. We call them bums. Anyways, the bums, the homeless, they live in their tent cities in squalor, doing the best they can to do whatever it is that they do.
True.
But in addition to doing whatever they do, they like to do all over the place. They shit everywhere. They're disease-ridden. They're not taking care of themselves, and they live amongst each other, and they're spreading communicable diseases amongst themselves and amongst the general population. Because it's not like the homeless are going away. It's not like they're a shrinking segment, demographic. No, in fact, they're growing. There's yet one more fucking indicator that the wealthy getting incredibly wealthier while most of us who make less than $1 million a year continue to get poorer. Dollars go less far. We can't keep up with the cost of living, and real wages have been stagnated and in some cases declining. Now, welcome to United States of America dystopia. It is a fucked situation. And here we are, mainstream media ignoring the outbreaks in the cities. Not just amongst the homeless, but it's getting into the general. So they're heading into an economic collapse, recession, right? The Eurozone, and says, oh yeah, they're in a recession. You bet. Others of us might say they're per collapse because they cannot support themselves, especially when the rest of the world is also suffering, right? The French bank, Societe Generale, they are having trouble now. We've had Italy and their banking system having trouble. We've had Deutsche Bank in Germany having its trouble. The nations are going further into debt, and their banks are going into debt. And, you know, you can watch politics, how sometimes there's more cooperation, other times less and more and less, right? There's trends we can follow. Right now, we're having a trend. But what happens when you have an event and pathways to pieces? You might as well just throw the charts away when an event happens. What event do we having? Well, we had the Lehman event here in the United States of America, the collapse of 2008, right?
The real estate
AIG,
market collapse.
Banks that were too big to fail. They were too big to be allowed to fail by their buddies in Congress and the government, so they bailed them out with your money. That's an event. That fucks the whole system up. That throws the charts out the window. That's what we got building and brewing, not only here in the United States of America, but in good old Eurozone. All right, let's move on to something more domestic, right? How about our good buddy Andrew McCabe? Why is he so familiar, you might ask? Andrew McCabe, I think he was like the deputy director or the temporary director or the director of the FBI, right? Very powerful man, worth millions of dollars. And I don't know how a cop, glorified the FBI may be, but how a cop can become a multi-millionaire. How did that happen? How does that happen? Gee whiz. Golly gee willikers. Anyways, Andrew McCabe, he's been writing books. Isn't that fabulous? He's been writing books talking about all the games and shenanigans he pulled as an FBI leader. He has practically admitted, come out, as some people would say, and given evidence, testified against himself through his own book to subversion, a coup d'etat, and even treason. You know, along with his good buddy, Rosenstein, Ruby Rosenstein, right, who wanted to wear a wire and then ask leading questions and try and frame people within the Trump administration, maybe even President Trump himself. Let's not forget, Strzok and Page, those two great people who were banging each other while they were conspiring to participate in the coup d'etat and the plantation and dissemination of false information about Trump and Russian collusion, which has led to a 2-year plus investigation by Robert Mueller, another former FBI stooge, who is a Democrat buddy, especially of the Clintons, who participated in the Uranium One deal to some extent, along with many other things I'm sure he's done that we don't know a damn thing about. You know, hello, McCabe, out there shooting his lips off. Well, Mueller is supposed to be done with his investigation next week, maybe the week after. He's supposed to wrap it up. He's done with it. Thanks, Mueller. You've gotten absolutely nowhere but to arrest people by, shall we say, bulldogging them, you know, twisting their neck on their arm behind their back and basically tricking them into admitting things so that they could go to jail. What an asshole. So, as a result of this, this supposed wrap-up of the Mueller investigation of Russian collusion, of which he's participated, if he's had anything to do with Uranium One, that sounds more like Russian collusion than anything Trump has done. Anyways, we're starting to hear from the Patriot crowd again that declass, as in the declassification of the FISA documents, that's coming. And arrests, they're coming. Well, I'm not holding my breath. I'm not holding out any real hope. You know, it would be great. I can say, I hope they arrest Hillary. I hope they arrest Loretta Lynch. I hope they arrest all these people that I don't particularly care for because basically they're criminals. Not just political subversives and scumbags, but I think that they've probably committed a number of criminal acts that have been talked about on mainstream news. It's not a secret. I'm not privy to any secret that no one else doesn't know about. I just managed to figure out 1 and 1 equals 2. And secret meetings on a tarmac with Bill Clinton while you're being offered the position as Attorney General by soon-to-be wannabe President Hillary Clinton. To me, that sounds illegal. Very much so. Anyways, all at the same time while Hillary was supposed to being investigated. So I'm not holding my breath for arrests because we've been waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and then waiting some more. So if arrests happen, here's what I say, expect some fucking retaliation. The stakes at this level are huge. Now, these guys aren't the top level. This is just the top level of government in the Justice Department, in the State Department, because Hillary was Secretary of State, head of state in that regard. Right? I expect that if they were to start making arrests on that level because the Mueller investigation is done, you better fucking get your magazines loaded and keep your eyes peeled. Because danger Will Robinson. These people are the last ones between us and the real powers that be above them that are pulling their strings. So speaking of pulling strings, let's switch again to some international affairs over in China. What's going on with China? Well, we've got some tariffs that are coming back. Oh, we were told, hey, we're going to put some tariffs on those damn Chinese, right? They've screwed us over, says President Trump. So anticipating higher costs, corporations over here spent a ton of money ahead of time to get more stuff sent. So it increased what? Business, spending, right? It made everything actually ramp up in the economy. The threat of the tariff caused more spending than otherwise would have occurred. It caused some more deficit spending as well, but it's caused more action to happen. What is interesting about that is it's all going to come to an end here pretty quick. There's supposed to be a deadline, but every time we get a deadline, they seem to push it off, right? I feel like they're jerking us around, right? Like they're fucking with us because they are. And I'm talking about President Trump and Xi Jinping and the rest of the world. They're playing fucking games. But we're coming to the end of this grace period in the tariff war, the trade war. And what is going on? Well, they can't seem to come to an agreement. Doesn't look good. However, there's hope in the stock market, at the New York Stock Exchange, at the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, right? And the NASDAQ, and the Dow. There's hope hope that Trump will pull it off. It's funny how these clowns want Trump to succeed in that avenue, but they would like to see him impeached in every other case. That said, the market has continued to go up. We had a bear market action in December, worst December on record. It would have been far worse if Steve Mnuchin and the plunge protection team hadn't stepped in, which they announced publicly. Made it through the mainstream press as well as the alternative media, and everyone just ho-hum, blew it off. No big deal. Well, the time's running out. TikTok, thank you very much. And we're still having the stock market go up on hope. Right? Last time I heard about hope and change, it got us a president who shoved socialized medicine light, low-calorie socialized medicine down our fucking throats with a giant tax penalty thrown on the end of it. You know, and I've had it with this. I don't like this shit. It sucks. I've had it with it. I don't want to see it anymore. Right? But what can you do? Who can you blame? Who can you go after? Who can fix it? Apparently nobody. It's interesting how the government has all this fucking power to do what it wants to us, to destroy the economy, to destroy society. Yet when it comes to fixing shit, they can't just fucking get rid of it. They can't just fix it. We can't just get rid of Obamacare. We can't just get rid of Social Security. And I know people who are getting Social Security and very close to getting it. They've paid into it their whole lives, just like I have. But I got to tell you, I'm tired of paying for something that I don't think I'm going to get, and I would rather stop now than later. Fuck this. By the time it gets to me, it's going to be means tested. You know, and you can't just get a job to supplement it, because if you make too much, they fucking take it from you anyway. The whole system, everything government does is wrong. If there's one thing you can count on them doing, fucking up a wet dream. That is all they're good at, is making the absolute stupidest decision. I don't remember seeing that as a prerequisite for any legislation in the Constitution, but they've managed to make that their modus operandi. Pricks, dumbasses. So, the Dow is hitting close to all-time highs. Beautiful. Bad news that is coming out. Bad news with jobs, bad news with earnings, bad news across the board. Housing, cars, wages. Fuck it. Bad news doesn't matter. The Dow goes up. It's being pumped up. It's being blown up like a big fat balloon that's getting tighter and tighter and tighter. And the Federal Reserve is talking about, oh, let's not raise the rates, because they know if they raise interest rates, people won't buy, can't afford. They know that they can't lower interest rates because that's an admission that they've fucked up. Liquidity is drying up, but they can't do QE because that's another admission that everything's blowing up and will cause inflation. But with a declining economy and an increase in cash flow, you get stagflation. Right? Bad fucking news. Hello, America. It's coming to a neighborhood near you. Now, I just went in with a little bit of fun stuff here. It's not really fun. It's actually kind of scary. Chemtrails, global cooling, ice, snow, floods. I'm going to submit this to you guys. They know what they're doing. That is the people who are doing geoengineering, fucking with our weather. They know what they're doing. They're spraying that shit, aerosolized crap in the clouds and above the clouds, and it reflects energy and keeps it in the upper atmosphere, bouncing around, ding, 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 right? But it doesn't get to the ground where it warms the crust, and as a result, we're having changing weather patterns, erratic weather patterns, right? They are fucking with us. Fucking with us. They won't tell us that they're doing it, really fully admit it, and have public hearings, and let us ask some fucking questions where we can get some answers. Right? They're going to cause shit to hit the fan. Big time. Big time. They're doing it every way possible. They're doing it economically, politically, financially. They're doing it socially, monetarily. They're doing it across the board. And I want to end with Jesse Smollett. In case the name sounds familiar, he's that asshole race exploitation expert who had a couple black friends of his assault him so that he could blame white people who are Republicans wearing Make America Great Again hats. Can you fucking believe it? Well, he got in trouble. So I'm sure that President Trump. Love to say to Jesse Smollett, "You're fired." But guess what? He didn't get a chance because the television show that he worked for, that he was part of his motive for pulling this race exploitation stunt. It's more like a racist exploitation stunt. Blame white people, racist exploitation stunt. What a scumbag. He did it because
It's a
he wanted
scumbag.
more money. He did it. That was apparently his prime motive.
That's why he's getting
He
arrested.
was victim of a race crime.
That's why you're going to jail.
A hate crime. That his producers on the show would see him as a potential attraction for the series he was in. And therefore he would get bigger parts and better pay. So I'm sure it didn't hurt his feelings to know that he would get all kinds of sympathy from the mainstream media who would love to do interviews and ask him all the juicy details. Well, the guy fucked up. He made everyone feel bad. He made everyone feel bad. Every race, creed, color, age, everything. Everyone felt bad. Right? After they discovered what a lying piece of shit this guy is. And I have to say that there's a lot more like him doing a lot more than just race baiting and racial exploitation.
Exactly.
They're out there. There's people claiming that they're victims of sexual assaults, which is not good for real assault victims.
Mm-hmm.
There's people who are out there claiming discrimination when they're not really the victim of discrimination, which it hurts other people who are the true victims of discrimination. Right? But what came up lately is this new word to the lexicon, the white-splaining, right? Which is white people trying to say they understand racial bigotry and prejudice. And I have to tell you, since Obama became president and the Black Lives Movement came out and the Black Panthers came out and all of the anti-whiteness came out, I guess maybe I qualify because of the racial inequality that I have had to suffer. I can't even open my mouth as a Christian, white, male, middle-aged human being with blonde hair and blue eyes, right? I've got everything going against me, but I can still laugh my ass off about it. What's important to note, no matter your age, your gender, your race, your religion, I don't give a shit. If you're a good human being, you know it, damn it. You know it. And people know it about you. And if you're an intelligent human being and forward looking, you're going to see that we're heading into shit hitting the fan. And this week was no exception. We are definitely heading that way. It's a matter of time and pressure and some more raw ingredients and a little more government fucking up and a little bit more corporate meddling. And we're going to get there. We have all of the trends heading that way. What we need now is the event. The event is going to come. Whether it's a terror event, whether it's a manufactured stock market crash.
Okay. Sorry, guys. This is the end of the video. So I advise you to wake up and get prepared. This economy,
a manufactured stock market crash.
The economy is about to collapse soon. The financial market is collapsing. The banking system is collapsing. The real estate market been collapsed in 2008. Nobody's talking about the real estate market. You know, things is falling down, man. I advise you get prepared. The wise will survive. The chance favors the prepared mind is yours. The future belongs to the ones who is prepared. Thank you for watching. And I'll talk to you next time, guys. I got to go wash up. I got things to do today, and